Toxic relationships are like a bad Netflix show. You know it's not good for you, but you keep hitting next episode because you're hooked. Why do we willingly walk into these emotional traps again and again? Is it because of a desperate need to fix a partner who's broken, a fear of eating alone on Friday nights, or the thrill of chaotic drama that keeps us on our toes? Let's unravel the dark psychology behind why we choose to stay in these toxic cycles, often mistaking turbulence for passion, and figure out how to break free. Number 10. The comfort of familiarity. Replaying early life patterns. People often find themselves in toxic relationships because they are comfortable with the familiar dynamics, even if they are harmful. Childhood experiences with emotionally unavailable or abusive caregivers can predispose individuals to seek similar partners later in life. A report highlighted that chronic stress during childhood can lead to emotional deregulation and an increased risk of psychiatric disorders, such as depression and anxiety, which can perpetuate these relationship patterns in adulthood. The cycle of recreating past trauma offers a false sense of safety, akin to walking around in a familiar forest, even if it's full of wolves. At least you know the terrain. This effect is not just anecdotal. The body's response to long-term exposure to such toxic stress can have significant physiological impacts, including increased levels of circulating stress hormones and systemic inflammation, gradually affecting one's physical health and well-being. Familiarity, even with harmful experiences, can feel less frightening than venturing into the unknown. Number 9. The illusion of fixing someone. Playing the hero. Many individuals stay in toxic relationships due to a strong desire to fix their partner. According to findings from Mental Health America, a significant number of people involved in these relationships feel that their role is to save or improve their partner's life, often at their own expense. This mindset creates a savior complex, which can be emotionally rewarding but also incredibly draining. The dynamic of wanting to fix someone gives a sense of purpose and makes one feel needed. However, this often leads to self-sacrifice, with many partners ignoring their well-being in favor of trying to rescue the other person. It's comparable to patching up a sinking ship while you're still on it. No matter how much effort you put in, you are bound to go down with it unless the fundamental issues are addressed. Number 8. Addiction to drama. The dopamine effect. Toxic relationships are addictive due to the unpredictable cycle of highs and lows. According to research, the erratic nature of affection in these relationships triggers dopamine production, similar to the effects of gambling or substance use. This intermittent reward system keeps individuals hooked, as they continuously seek out those fleeting moments of affection that feel like a jackpot win. This unpredictability and the occasional rewards are what make toxic relationships similar to an addiction, where people are perpetually chasing the high. Number 7. Fear of loneliness. Better bad company than no company? The fear of being alone is a significant reason why many individuals remain in toxic relationships. A study highlighted that around 72% of individuals in toxic relationships cited fear of loneliness as a primary reason for staying. In today's society, being single is often stigmatized, with cultural pressures that imply being in a relationship is synonymous with personal success. Loneliness has been shown to have negative effects on both mental and physical health, including increased inflammation and stress hormone levels, which can have similar effects to smoking or obesity. Number 6. Validation seeking. The search for approval. The need for validation is a significant psychological factor in toxic relationships. Research by the Greater Good Science Center found that about 55% of people in toxic relationships stayed because they felt that earning love from an emotionally distant partner would validate their worth. This behavior stems from a deep-seated belief that if they could win over the partner, they could prove that they are lovable and worthy. However, this constant seeking of validation from someone who rarely offers it often leaves the person feeling even more depleted and insecure. It's similar to trying to fill a cup with a hole in it. No matter how much effort is put in, it's never enough. Number 5. Power dynamics. The thrill of dominance or submission. Power dynamics play a significant role in many toxic relationships. A report from Mental Health America found that 42% of individuals in such relationships admitted to being drawn to either the power or the submission aspect of the dynamic. For some, the control exerted by their partner is misconstrued as a sign of deep affection. This is often because giving up personal power or taking control can fulfill certain unmet psychological needs. The dominating partner feels powerful, while the submissive partner feels taken care of, albeit in a misguided way. This dynamic creates a dependency that makes leaving the relationship incredibly challenging. Number 4. Emotional trauma bonds. Attachment through adversity. Trauma bonding is a psychological mechanism that often keeps people in toxic relationships. This type of bond forms when an abusive partner alternates between abuse and moments of kindness, creating a cycle that keeps the victim emotionally invested. A report by the National Domestic Violence Hotline indicated that this kind of bond makes it extremely difficult to leave an abusive relationship because the kindness, although inconsistent, provides just enough hope to keep the victim attached. The person clings to the hope that the good times will eventually outweigh the bad, even when evidence consistently proves otherwise. Number 3. Romanticizing dysfunction. Chaos equals passion? Media portrayals of love can often blur the line between passion and dysfunction. A cultural survey revealed that 36% of people believe that a passionate relationship must have elements of chaos or drama. This idea, perpetuated by movies and books, makes people equate conflict with love, leading them to tolerate or even seek out tumultuous relationships. These narratives make toxic behaviors like jealousy or possessiveness seem romantic, rather than recognizing them as red flags. The reality is that real passion doesn't require turmoil. It thrives on understanding, respect, and genuine connection. Romanticizing dysfunction only leads to emotional exhaustion. Number 2. Codependency. The can't live without you syndrome. Codependency is a significant feature of many toxic relationships, where one or both partners are excessively reliant on the other for their emotional needs. Research by the American Psychological Association indicated that about 48% of people in toxic relationships exhibited codependent behaviors, characterized by sacrificing personal needs to satisfy the partner. Codependency feels like tethering two lifeboats together in rough waters. If one sinks, it inevitably drags the other down too. Codependent individuals often develop an exaggerated sense of responsibility for their partner's well-being, leading to chronic stress and burnout. This behavior often originates from early experiences in dysfunctional family environments where individuals learn to ignore their own needs in order to support someone else's. Without addressing these patterns, the cycle of codependency can make it nearly impossible for individuals to experience a fulfilling, independent life, as they remain stuck in roles that prioritize others over themselves. Number 1. The false hope of change. Believing they'll get better. One of the strongest reasons people stay in toxic relationships is the belief that their partner will change. Findings from Mental Health America show that many individuals remain hopeful that their partner's behavior will improve, holding on to promises that are rarely fulfilled. This belief creates an emotional trap where the victim keeps forgiving bad behavior in hopes of future transformation. This pattern is akin to waiting for a dry desert to suddenly turn lush and green. It's an unrealistic expectation that leads to prolonged suffering. People need to understand that true change only happens when an individual genuinely wants it, not because someone else wishes it to happen. This false hope is often reinforced by cycles of abuse followed by temporary improvements, which give a false sense of progress. Studies have shown that toxic partners often make promises of change as a form of manipulation, which can lead to repeated cycles of reconciliation followed by further mistreatment. Breaking free from this belief requires recognizing these patterns and seeking support to establish healthier boundaries and expectations, ultimately prioritizing one's own emotional well-being over unrealistic hopes for change. And that wraps up our deep dive into why people get stuck in toxic relationships, kind of like getting hooked on a terrible reality show you just can't turn off. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and remember, real love shouldn't feel like an episode of Emotional Survivor. Stay strong, and I'll catch you in the next video.